PocaSPEAKS. This shit is not easy, but it's worth it. PocaSPEAKS. This shit is not easy, but it's worth it. It's all about community. Spirituality is important.
Come on in.
PocaSPEAKS. This shit is not easy, but it's worth it.
Hey y'all.
PocaSPEAKS. This
Happy
shit
Thursday.
is not easy, but it's worth it. It's all about community. Spirituality is important.
Hey, y'all come on in. We're about to get started in a second.
PocaSPEAKS. This shit is not easy.
We got a good topic
But
today.
it's worth it.
I would love to hear y'all opinions on the things we're going to touch on today.
PocaSPEAKS.
So,
This shit is not easy.
I'm going to get into
But
it.
it's worth it. It's all about community. Spirituality is important. PocaSPEAKS.
All right. Hello, my loves. I hope everybody's having a great day so far. Y'all know our Think Tank Thursdays are for our controversial topics. These days are dedicated to talking about things that people don't usually talk about, or that may come off way too controversial that some people just don't feel comfortable talking about, whatever the case is. But if you know me, you know I love me a good controversial topic. Okay, I love to be the person to talk about shit that everybody else is scared to talk about, because ain't no punk in me. Okay, and I'm a make you think. I'm a push your mind. I'm a talk about it. I'm gonna say something, and that's just what it is. So today our topic is Hoochie culture destroying the divine feminine. Okay, is Hoochie culture destroying the divine feminine? Now, when we're talking about Hoochie culture, okay, some of y'all might be like, okay, well, what the hell are you talking about? What do you mean Hoochie culture? I'm gonna tell you exactly what I'm talking about. I'm talking about your sexy reds. I'm talking about your Sukianas. I'm talking about, these harsh, crazy lyrics. I'm talking about this hypersexual energy that is being displayed and pushed on our women. That's what I mean when I'm talking about Hoochie culture, okay? I'm going to give my 2 cents. Definitely feel free to share your thoughts in the comments in regards to the topic. I will put some of y'all thoughts on the screen. So definitely feel free to share how you feel in regards to this specific topic. If you are tuned in, definitely make sure that you share this video so that anybody else on your timeline can see and maybe be a part of the conversation. I feel like, when it comes to certain topics, we should all be a part of the conversation, especially when it is affecting the collective. Okay. So if you're just joining, if you're just tuning in, again, the topic today is Hoochie culture destroying the divine feminine, okay? Again, what do I mean by hoochie culture? I mean your Sukianas, your sexy reds, your hypersexual activities, your hypersexual lyrics, and things of that nature, okay? Like I said, I'm gonna start off giving my 2 cents about the whole topic, and then of course, if you have any comments, or opinions or thoughts, please put them in the comments so that we can kind of talk about it. Maybe other people may feel the way you feel, or vice versa, whatever the case may be. But I definitely want to open the floor for people to feel comfortable enough to say what they feel, so that we can talk about it. Okay. Now, how do I feel about it? Has hoochie culture just started? No. Right? A lot of people, whether it is millennials or people of, the baby boomer generation or the generation X, a lot of people, try to make it seem like this whole hoochie thing just started. It didn't. Right? It didn't. We had Lil Kim's, we had, Foxy Browns, we had, things of that nature. And then if we go even further back, you had people like I don't want to say Big Mama Thornton because I don't think that was her, but it was another lady back in the day who made this crazy ass song. It went viral on TikTok maybe like 2 years ago, where she was basically, it was a sexual, type song, right? So this culture, as far as being hypersexual and putting it into music, is not anything that just started. However, has it taken a increase over the last couple of years? Absolutely. I feel like the market is now oversaturated, okay? Oversaturated with this type of energy. And if you ask me, I feel like this is something that has been brewing for a while. And now we're finally getting to a place where it's kind of just in our face and we can't escape it, right? I don't think that is anything, like I said, that started, over the last couple of, years or months or whatever. No, I don't think that is anything new, but I do think that it is something that has taken a complete different course, okay, as far as it's saturating, like I said, Black culture specifically, which goes into my next point. This hypersexual hoochie culture has always been predominantly Black. It has always been pushed on the predominantly Black. Okay, hoochie culture has never been a part of Caucasian society. Never. Hoochie culture has never been a part of the Indians from India society. Never. Hoochie culture has never been a part of the Jews society. Never. Hoochie culture has never been a part of the African society. Never, right? So it has always been pushed and furthered by the Black community. When I say Black community, I'm speaking of Americans. The American Blacks have always been the face, and the picture of Hoochie Mama. Okay, you think about Hoochie Mama, you automatically go to Black American. You don't go to Black African. You don't go to Black UK, United Kingdom. You go to Black American citizen. That's just that on that, right? Now, if we go back, and take a little side turn, and we go back to the 90s. In the 90s, they had something called the meeting that changed hip hop. Okay, if you don't know about it, go look that up. You will go down a rabbit hole. But it is the meeting that changed hip hop. It happened in the 90s. This is basically when the executives, the music executives, the movie executives, all of those from Hollywood came and sat down with rappers, singers, actors, actresses, and things of that nature. And they had a meeting in regards to their objective with the Black culture. Now, they basically started to pay Black artists to put more violence and sex in their music. That was the whole meeting. Okay, the whole meeting was about putting more violence and putting more sex into the music. Okay, which is why if you pay attention, right after we kind of got out of the 90s, that's when music really took a turn to being super, super, super just out there. Okay, if you go back and you look at the 90s and before, this is when men used to cry on songs. Okay, They used to give their heart on these songs. Okay, they used to be like, "No, I want my girl back. Please, baby, come back to me." Okay, it was all about love. It was all about community. Even if we look at some of the old school rappers back in that time, between the late 80s and the 90s, all of the rap was about, their neighborhoods, things that they had going on, or it was about things that they wanted, whether it was money or success or clothes or cars or things of that nature. Or there was also a lot of conscious rap going on in the 90s. Closer to the late 90s, they got a little bit more conscious. But there was a lot of conscious rap happening as well. KRS-One, you had a lot of people who were speaking of high vibrational things, or either just sharing their stories through music, okay? Or sharing love through music, or whatever the case is. After we left the 90s and we started moving to these 2000s, that's when shit started getting real rocky roller coaster and all over the place, okay? So it just goes to show that it was strategic. Where we are right now, we are not here by accident. It was strategic to get us to this place of hypersexuality. So now we look at modern day music, and you got whole women telling you the color of their coochie and their booty hole. And this is something that has just become, it's second nature. It's nothing, right? Even in the early 2000s, when we had Kaya, like one person said, with My Neck, My Back, when we had the Lil Kims and the Foxy Browns and all of that stuff, you wouldn't play that shit in front of your mama, or your mama wasn't playing that shit in front of her mama. There was a certain level of, we need to keep this away from the older generation. Or we kind of ashamed of some of these words that's being said. I don't want my mama to hear me listening to this, so I don't want this person to know that I'm singing these lyrics, because there was a certain respect that came with it. We knew that what the fuck we was listening to was a little on a raunchy side, and that the elders or our parents or whoever probably don't want to hear that, right? Now there is no separation of respect. They don't give a fuck. Now you got kids playing their booty hole brown, and the mamas is twerking to it. So there is no separation of legacy. There is no separation of ancestry or matriarchy or patriarchy. There is no separation of respect when it comes to the older generation, or when it just comes to your mama. I would, even to this day, I will not put on a Sexy Red song in front of my mama. First of all, I don't listen to no Sexy Red, but you would not catch me listening to no Sexy Red in front of my mama. And my mama has always been, one of those parents that are very real, raw. And she was the type, when I was 10 and 11, she was, showing me, this is what happens if you have sex. You can get an STD. You can do this. You can do that. My mother has always been very open with her children in regards to the realities of the world. But I will still not play that damn song in front of my mama. It's just a respect thing. I would dare not play that type of music in front of my mama. That's just crazy as hell to me, right? But now we are in a place where you got the Sexy Reds, you got the Ice Spices, like somebody said, you got the Sukiyanas talking about something, now I'm gonna eat his ass, and you got these children who are playing this music in front of their mamas, and even some of y'all adults playing this shit in front of y'all mamas, and there is no inner, like you said, this word right here, there is no integrity. There's no respect in this generation no more. There's no integrity. There's no separation of sex and the collective, which there should be, right? There should be, okay? So now we have women, older women, okay, because it's affecting all generations at this point. I done seen people in their 40s talking about their booty holes brown. And to me, that is just absolutely in fucking insane, right? I feel like one of the biggest reasons of why the Black community itself is all over the place right now is because we don't have matriarchs no more. We got women who are in their 40s and 50s that want to shake their ass and twerk with their daughters and try to keep up with their kids and try to keep up with these other little young ass things that's running around here. And there is no wisdom. There, when I was growing up back in the 90s, okay, when I was growing up, when I was a little kid, okay, growing up in the 90s, when I went to my great grandma's house, I knew who was who. You didn't have to tell me who was who. I knew who was who because they conducted themselves a certain type of way. My grandmother, you knew she was the matriarch of the family. Why? Because she had that energy with her. She let her gray hairs grow out. My great grandmother, of course, at that point, she was in her what 80s. You knew who she was. And then you had my grandmama. You knew that she meant business. She was letting her gray hairs grow out, and she looked like a grandmama. You knew who the grandmama was, right? You even knew who the aunties was, because they had that energy about themselves as well. You knew who the uncles was. They had that energy about themselves as well. You as a child knew the difference in in the structure of the family. We used to hide shit because we had so much respect for our elders. We didn't want to listen to certain shit in front of our elders because it was a respect thing. It was all about respect. And the respect of this generation and of where we are now is non-existent. I don't know who is a grandma. I don't know who is a great grandma no more. I don't fucking know. It be some people that I see on TikTok, they be like, yeah, I'm a 50-some-year-old grandmother of this many. I'm like, huh? And not because they look young, because my grandmother looked young as well back in the 90s and in the 2000s. My grandmother look young now. She's 70-something. She still look like she about 50. So it's not because of youthfulness, because Black people have always been very youthful looking. We always look way younger than we are. It wasn't about that. It was about the energy that was given. You knew once you walked in grandma's house, you felt this energy. You felt this nurturing energy, this comforting energy. You felt protected. You felt safe. You knew that everything was going to be all right because you stepped into that energy, and that energy overtook you. You could tell that grandmama was in there praying. Okay, most of our grandmamas was religious. That's just what it is. Most of our grandmamas was Christian. Okay, but you knew that she was in there praying. You knew she was in there walking around that motherfucking house, protecting that motherfucker. You knew that it was gonna be some good. It was always gonna be some food in there. You knew that you was gonna eat. You was gonna sleep good. Some of the best sleep I ever got was when I went to my grandmama's house and stayed over there with my cousins. That was some of the best motherfucking sleep I had. You understand me? And then you wake up early as shit because grandma up there shouting or screaming and praying. You hear her praying or on her prayer calls. See, my grandmother has always been a pastor since I was born. Okay, my grandmother's church started a year before I was even born. So my grandmama used to wake me up screaming and praying and talking in tongues and shit. That was my childhood, right? Even it so much so that it passed down to my mother. So when I would be on the weekends, even in high school, okay, and in the late 2000s, when I was in fucking high school, I would hear my mama stomping and praying and calling on the Lord and doing all these different types of things and things of that nature. And in that home, you can feel the love, you can feel secure, you feel protected. You knew what the fuck was what, right? Yes, come on now. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. Then you got to play with your cousins. Okay, we used to go around the neighborhood and have fun and go to the corner stores and things of that nature, go to parks, ride our bikes, scooters, things of that nature. We were more involved. Okay, that's when families was familying. Okay, but after our great grandmamas died, after our grandmamas died, what happened? What happened? Everything with the shit. Everything with the shit. Because the grandmamas, which is our parents, okay, or their parents, was supposed to step in and take over. But these motherfuckers is at the club telling people what color their booty hole is. These motherfuckers is at the beautician getting 30-inch bundles in the club, shaking ass and throwing ass. Okay? We don't have any representation anymore of what a woman is. We don't have a representation anymore of motherly energy. We no longer have that matriarchic representation that we used to fucking have. And because of that, everything has went to shit, along with what society is doing in Hollywood. Alexa.
I'm having trouble connecting to the internet. Take a look at the help section in your Alexa app.
Ain't nobody even say that whole name. I don't even know why she just started talking. But anyway, of course, even accompanied with what society is doing, and then the lack of authority in the home. Those two things come together and you have a Sexy Red. You have a Sukihana. You have a Ice Spice, right? And what are all of them promoting? Name me one positive thing that any of those people I just named are promoting. We'll all wait. Anything? Anybody? Anybody got something from them? Anybody learned something that you can use in your life? And then this is one thing that I hate about this new young ass generation. Okay, number one, Gen Z and Lola, y'all sensitive as fuck. Okay, that's just number one. Everybody thinks that everybody needs to be accepted. Everything don't need to be accepted. This new generation, along with the bullshit that these motherfuckers is putting in their head, think that everything should be accepted. Everything is not supposed to be accepted. Okay? Everything is not supposed to be accepted. Some shit is just wrong. Some shit we just don't need to be into. Some shit we just need to leave the fuck alone. Everything is not supposed to be accepted. That's crazy as hell. That doesn't make no motherfucking sense. So you got all of these children, okay, out here defending these motherfuckers because they feel like they are showing them what femininity is. Let me say something. If you are lost in the sauce, your femininity, your divine femininity has nothing to do with your coochie cat. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Can you hear me clear? Your femininity has nothing to do with your coochie cat and the use of it. Nothing to do with that. Nothing to do with that. Y'all talking about some, oh, you know, people are being free and they're tapping in with their divine feminine. Your divine feminine will never have you out here looking like that, talking like that, acting like that, walking like that, presenting yourself like that. It will never, because it's called divine femininity. And ain't nothing divine showing a coochie. Ain't nothing divine telling you the color of their booty hole. Ain't nothing divine telling you how they lick it or suck it or eat your ass. Nothing divine about that. If y'all some slut buckets, just say that. If you want to go get that coochie to everybody, just say that. If you want to be a modern day prostitute, just say that. Because that's what is happening right now. We are basically coming to a place where prostitution is becoming normal. It's normal now. You don't even got to pay for a prostitute no more. You can just go on Twitter. You don't got to pay for a prostitute no more. You just need to have a certain amount of money. You don't got to get that bitch no money. You just got to have it. You just need to have a certain car. You just need to live in a certain house. You just need to have one song that's popular. You just need to have a certain amount of likes and shares and comments. And the bitch will let you bust that pussy open. And then they go back and they say, oh, this is about women living their truth and women being at one with themselves. No, the fuck it's not. It's really not. It's really not. It never gave that. It never gave that. It never gave that. It never gave being in tune with yourself. If anything, all of this is showing how out of tune everybody is with themselves. That's just that on that. You cannot convince me that you love yourself and you are out here presenting yourself to the world in this capacity. You cannot convince me that you love yourself and you're out here treating yourself the way that you're treating yourself or allowing people to do to you the things that they're doing to you. I watched a video of, I forget which person it was. One of these little hoes running around here. I don't remember which one. But they were talking about how they let men pee on them. And the fact that shit was being broadcasted and shared and it was allowed to be on social media and people are liking this and talking about this. I remember, because I was alive back then, I remember in the 90s, in the early 2000s, when R. Kelly had peed on that little girl. And everybody was like, what the fuck is going on? What do you mean? Pee? What? We were all flabbergasted. That news just took us by our baby hairs. Not only was it because he was messing with an underage girl, but you was pissing on somebody. You was pissing on somebody. I mean, we were all taken aback. If you was alive during that time, then you can attest to what the fuck I'm saying. We were all just so confused because what do you mean you allow somebody to piss on you? What the fuck is you talking about? And you an underage child. On top of that, now pissing is normal. Oh yeah, I peed on that nigga. Yeah, he peed on me. Oh yeah, it's a kink. Oh yeah, we all like that. Piss on me, piss on me. What the fuck is going on? What the fuck is going on? Not only that, underage hypersexuality. All of these teenagers, now it is normal to get pregnant as a teenager. I remember back in the day, you were so ashamed of being pregnant that they all had that motherfucking big ass black coat that they used to wear so that they can hide that baby bump. Because we was ashamed. We knew we was underage. We knew we was too young to have a motherfucking baby. And it wasn't because the baby itself was a shameful thing, but it was just the fact that you knew you were underage. And there was a certain, like you said, integrity. There was a certain respect that you knew you disrespected yourself a little bit. I'm not in the best situation right now. I'm not proud of walking around this bitch 14 and pregnant. Now these little assholes, 14, they parents throwing them these big ass baby showers and everybody is happy and laughing and joyful, not understanding the responsibility that this 14-year-old baby now has to go out into this world and be a mama when she was never able to be a little girl, when she was never able to be a woman first. She was a mama before she was even, able to finish her childhood. So now she's living a life where she has never been able to just be responsible for herself. She's going to always have a life where now she's responsible for another human being. And we're glorifying this shit. Does that mean beat that person up and make them feel like shit? No. But it does mean that we should know that this shit is unacceptable. It's unacceptable to get pregnant when you a fucking teenager. What the hell is going on? And this is another thing. What the fuck is going on with these millennial ass parents of these children where you don't know that your motherfucking child is walking around this bitch having sex and fucking? When I say the minute I had sex, my mama knew. It really scared the fuck out of me. Because I was trying to figure out how the fuck she knew that. How do you know this? What the fuck is wrong with you? How do you? I didn't even come and tell you nothing yet. I didn't even come and open my mouth yet. I don't even think that I'm acting different. I think I'm still walking around this bitch acting the same. I'm gonna be like, what you been doing? Huh? What you mean? I didn't do nothing, Mom. Yes, you did. You did something. I can tell. Something is different. Mom, how did you know that? I had to sit there and be like, damn, well, since we're here, let me just tell you, yeah, the cherry done been popped, Mom. I was 16, She knew immediately. Why? Because my mother was an active parent. My mother was an active parent. Now, did me and my mother get into it? Was there certain things that traumatized me and all of those stuff and things I had to heal from? Absolutely. That's just any relationship, right? Any parental relationship, there's going to be certain traumas and triggers and things that come with it. But my mama knew her kids, and she knew when I went out there and did something. She knew the very minute because she was active. She was active in my life. She knew, she was familiar with my normal way of being. Because she was there, she was attentive. My mama was the type, she didn't play about her kids. You had Angela fucked up if you tried to fuck with one of her babies. You just had her fucked up. I mean, that's just that on that. And if you want to fight about it, we can do that too. But she wasn't playing when it came to her kids. Okay? My mother made sure that she knew what the fuck was going on. And she also made sure that we were comfortable enough to come to her and tell her if something was going on. Right? Now, my mother was a little crazy, so I didn't really feel comfortable coming and telling her because she was a little crazy. But she knew. I didn't even have to do that because she knew already, right? So a lot of these parents, like I said, they so worried about living their own lives and busting their own coochies open that they can't even focus on what their children are doing. They have no idea that their child is out here with secret OnlyFans, and that's not even getting to the child sex predators that's coming and snatching y'all kids from y'all houses up under y'all nose and y'all don't even know. Let's not get into these motherfucking pedophiles that's on Facebook, on Telegram and Instagram and all of these grams that's inboxing y'all children, that's monitoring y'all children's pages and being fucking weird. Okay, I can't tell you how many reports I done heard over the last 3 to 5 years of these little ass girls going out and trying to meet with these motherfuckers over the internet, and they either is go fucking missing and ain't nobody heard from their ass again, okay, or they leave the motherfucking house and run away, and their parents gotta fight like hell to get their asses to come the fuck back home. It's happening way too often. It's way too many black girls going missing from their houses. And you can't tell me that it's not because of this motherfucking social media bullshit going on. You cannot fucking tell me that these babies is not going missing. And half of the reason that that's happening is because of this bullshit ass social media. You cannot convince me otherwise. You can't convince me otherwise. And then you got these same, little ass girls who had these babies young with these crazy ass niggas who is almost twice their fucking age, or these motherfuckers that's running around in these streets, because all of these hoochie mama songs is talking about how they niggas is rolling around shooting and they a passenger princess while they man go get to work and drop off to work and whip to work and all of that, and then they become the next victim because this motherfucker done lost his rabbit ass mind, and then he taking out your child and your grandchild. How many stories can we count over the last, let's just say 6 months, of black women who have been unalived at the hands of their baby daddies? Black women unalive who are underage at the hands of some of these boys. Or let's not even get into the black women who are unalive at the hands of other little black girls. Because now the black girls want to be shooters too. See, back in the day, again, and I'm going to keep going back and referencing the 90s and the 2000s because that's all I can do. Back then, and even further back then, there was a policy in every hood. No women, no kids. That was a policy. And it started way before the 90s. That shit started when we got free. When we got free, the whole gang lifestyle was really supposed to be men protecting the neighborhoods from Caucasians. Not from other black people. But that shit got fucked up because you allowed the Hollywood industry to come in and fuck shit up. Put it in the music, and they ain't got this side beefing with that side and this street beefing with that street and so on and so forth. When for real, the gang ideal was to protect the women and the children from the Caucasoid. Not from Nene that live on 31st and we live on 32nd. Now 31st and 32nd is beefing just because they on 2 different streets with 2 different numbers. So not only are we praising hoochie culture, but we're also praising gang culture. And the two are going hand in hand. You got the niggas rapping about how they want these bitches to be or how they view these bitches. And then you got the bitches being the bitches that these niggas is rapping about. It's just that fucking simple, right? So my biggest thing with this whole hoochie culture bullshit, okay, my biggest thing is, number one, if you're an adult, you are your own responsibility. It's nothing that I can do or say to make an adult do or say what they need to do or say. That's just that on that. I've given up with adults. At this point, you grown as fuck. So if you can't see that what you're doing is fucked up, and this is the thing, for example, and I'm coming back to my point, with Sukihana, if y'all remember, when Suki first came out, she was doing all that crazy shit, but then there was a point where she started hopping on social media talking about Hollywood, talking about selling her soul, talking about the industry, talking about how this is fucked up and that's fucked up and how they doing this and how they doing that. She was even up there talking about Jesus. Less than 2 years later, she's even far further off than she was previously. Make that make sense to me. How does somebody come to a revelation in their life where they realize the shit that they doing is fucked up, the industry is playing a part in what they doing, and things of that nature? And then less than a year or two later, the same person that was sitting there having a come to Jesus moment is the same motherfucker that's all over here doing the same shit that she just talked about the industry making people do. And everybody fucking forgot that shit. Cause that little portion of information was going viral for a minute when she was doing all of that selling my soul and the industry is this, the industry is that. That shit went viral. And then you ain't hear nothing from her. And then she pop out doing this ratchet ass shit that she do. And then the biggest thing that gets me is that these are the same females that then when they get the response that they're entitled to based on their actions, they want to act like they want to be looked at as a classy woman now. So, for example, I don't know if y'all seen that interview where that man was trying to kiss Suki in her mouth. Oh, why would you do that? Then there was another man talking about he would fuck her. So the right to her face, I will fuck you. I will fuck the shit out you. It's just, and then she want to come back and feel offended. How you gonna feel offended? What the fuck you feeling offended for? What you mean? Ain't this what you want? You got OnlyFans, so you showing people your coochie, your titties, your butthole, and everything the fuck else. You sucking niggas and fucking niggas on OnlyFans and things of that nature. You talking about how you eat niggas' asses. You're doing all of this super hypersexual shit. And then when men give you the response that is warranted based off of your actions, now you a victim? Now that's too far? What the fuck? That shit don't make no sense. These be the same bitches that you see get on social media and talk about how they want to be a wife. I want to be a wife, even though I'm rolling around listening to my booty hole brown. Those two don't even go together. And let me say this. If you are really operating in your divine feminine, you can't even stomach that type of shit. Feel how you feel. You ain't as in tune with your divine feminine as you think. If you rolling around bumping sexy red right now and calling yourself a spiritual being, baby, you somebody lying. Somebody lying. Because that means that you're not in tune with your higher self. You're not in tune with your consciousness. Because ain't no way your higher consciousness, your godly, the divine consciousness. Okay, because y'all like to say, I'm a God. Your godly ass consciousness is not telling you that maybe that's something that you shouldn't be programming your mind with. See, a lot of people love to talk that spiritual shit, but it's not too many people that live it. And that's what you'll start to realize when you start paying attention to people and the shit that they be into and the shit that they be motherfucking doing. At some point, there has to be a separation between the regular people and the spiritual people. That it has to be some type of separation. If there's no separation, then what the fuck is the point of being spiritual? If there's no respect that you need to have for yourself, if there's no higher perspective that you need to have, if there's no elevation that happens, then what the fuck is the point of you claiming spirituality? It sounds like you just want to use something as an excuse for you to do what the fuck you want to do. And so you're just using spirituality to do so, because Christianity is clear about that shit. Okay, and I don't agree with Christianity at all. But in that Bible, they tell you a prostitute, we gonna stone your ass. Use a Jezebel. Okay, the Bible is very clear about how they feel about women that's being promiscuous. Do I agree with the Bible? Absolutely not. But I'm saying a lot of people don't feel comfortable being hoochie mamas in Christianity because that Bible tell you how they feel about that shit. So a lot of people leave religious things alone and they go jump on spirituality because they feel like that's a free for all. I can just do whatever the fuck I want to do. I can just be me. I can just live in my truth. If living in my truth means that I want to pop this pussy, then that's just me living in my truth. No, that's you being a whore. That's you being a whore. And then the people who speak up against it, the people who say something, then people will be like, oh, y'all being pick-me's. Why the fuck would I want to be picked for saying something that should be common sense? That's common sense. Don't pick me for common sense. Pick me for higher higher logical thinking. Don't pick me for common sense. That's like saying I'm trying to be a pick me because 1 + 1 = 2. That's common fucking sense. Period. Don't be afraid to speak up on this bullshit, because remember, whatever we allow will continue. Whatever we make okay will continue. Make these bitches uncomfortable. These bitches should feel uncomfortable. They running a motherfucking muck, running around here fucking it up for everything and everybody. And if you think about it on a spiritual level, that's why I say you cannot be spiritual and then be a part of that bullshit. Because on a spiritual level, they have always tried to erase the divine feminine or hypersexualize the divine feminine in order to reduce her value. Because if you can reduce the value of the woman and eliminate the man, you have access to the child, and you get to make the child whatever you need them to be in the future. We are the last protection of our children. They already have eliminated the man as much as they could with the jail system, with the drug system, with the prison system, with the money system. The men, respectfully, y'all gotta handle yourselves, okay? As far as women trying to get y'all together, it's a lost cause. Y'all gonna have to wake the fuck up on your own and handle yourselves. There's nothing we can do about that, okay? The men just gonna have to come together and get that shit together. So if you're a spiritual man, you need to figure out how to get that shit together. But they've already eliminated the men. They've already figured out a way how to distract these men. So the only next thing that stands in front of the children is the woman. We the last protection that the babies got. When they was sending out men to prison, when these men was in the street, we was the ones in the house with all of these motherfucking kids. That's why we used to all be at motherfucking grandma's house. Because mama would just drop all our asses over there because she had to go to work. And half of our daddies was out doing what the fuck they wanted to do. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. That's why we was at grandma's house like that back in the day. Because the men was already missing in action. The streets was already taking our men out, even back in the 90s and the 2000s. Especially if we go even further back and we get into the crack epidemic, and then we get into the heroin epidemic, and all of these different things. So they already had the men about the way. So the only thing that has been standing in between the Hollywood and society and the elite and this new generation has been the black woman. Because we don't play about our motherfucking kids. You got us fucked up about our babies. Every time you see a video of something happening where somebody needs protection or somebody needs to be stood up for, it's always a black woman. It's always a black woman. How many videos have we seen where you see a black man and a black woman going at it and all of the men is standing around, but then it takes other black women to step in to protect that fucking woman? Come on now. We were the last thing remaining. We were the last thing standing. This is why we became so masculine, because we had to step into the man's role and protect the community. Because once they took the man, it was only the black women and the children who were the community. So then we had to become more masculine. We had to get into our masculine in order to step into that role to be the protection that we don't have and didn't have. And now the call is coming from inside the house because Hoochie culture is calling the black women outside, and now the babies is exposed. Then you got these motherfuckers out here talking about trans kids. What the fuck is going on with y'all? Come on now. Come on now. And who is the biggest supporter of the LGBTQ agenda? Black women. So at what point do we look ourselves in the mirror and take responsibility so that we can get our motherfucking hands back on the reins and control this bitch? Because they coming for our babies. They've been coming for our babies. They're coming for our babies intellectually. They're taking certain things out of the school and then implementing other things into the school system. So they're teaching our babies about shit that we didn't even tell them that it was okay to teach our babies about. Not only are we at war with the school system, we at war with the motherfucking pharmaceutical industry. Because why is all of these motherfucking kids popping out with autism? What the fuck is going on? Autism used to be something that was so here and there. It was so, random. If you met somebody who was autistic, it was like the only person you knew. Now, almost all of these children are popping out autistic. They're not talking. They're not saying words until they 5 and 6 years old. And we all sitting around like this shit is normal. Hoochie culture is affecting way more than you think it is, because it's taking the attention off of the families. It's taking the attention off of self. And it's making all of these women so fucking hypersexual that they can't focus on their kids. So you got these kids all over TikTok, and every time I see it, I get so upset. I can't stand to see no little ass child on TikTok cussing. And it's not because somebody else is recording them. It's their own mamas recording them cussing up a motherfucking storm. Or how they had little babies sitting in their fucking car seats. They're not even big enough to sit on a regular fucking seat in a car. They in a car seat. These babies sitting in fucking car seats, putting up guns and rapping whole ass lyrics at 2, 3, 4, and 5 years old. These the same little motherfuckers that y'all send to schools, and we can't get them to say they motherfucking ABCs 2 times in a row the right way. Let's talk about it. I was a teacher for 2 years. I taught every age in elementary. I taught kindergarten through 6th grade in my 2 years. I had kindergarten students. I had 1st grade students, 2nd grade, 3rd, 4th, 5th, all the way to 6th. And these be the same little kids that come in that motherfucking school system and they can't count. They can't spell. They don't know how to spell their names. They barely can say full sentences, but they can rap the whole motherfucking little baby verse and put up fake guns. And talk about splat and all of that shit, doing all these motherfucking hand signals. What the fuck is going on? You talking about a 4 and 5 year old? You know what I was doing at 4 and 5? I was watching Mickey Mouse. I was watching Looney Tunes. I was watching Dragon Tales. Okay? Between the Lions. The fuck? What are y'all talking about? At 4 and 5, that's what I was concerned about. I'm trying to see what the latest cartoon is at 4 and 5. I couldn't rap no rap song at 4 and 5 years old. The fuck is going on? What's going on? What's tea? What's tea? I really want to know. It's not making no motherfucking sense to me. And at some point, we have to say something about this shit. Again, whatever we ignore will continue. Whatever we allow will continue. And every time you like a video, every time you comment and you promote whatever that person is motherfucking doing, what you're actually doing is letting that person know, and you're reiterating for that person that whatever they're doing is okay, when it's fucking not. When it's not. You remember when we used to be kids again in I'm gonna keep going back. When we used to be kids in the 90s and the 2000s, when we had birthday parties, at a certain point, it wasn't your birthday party no more. It became the adults' late night talk session. It became the adults' party. And you know what they used to tell us? All y'all go in that room, or all y'all go outside, or all y'all go somewhere, get the fuck out of grown folks' business. I don't care if it was your birthday or fucking not. Get your ass out of here. The grown people is talking now. Y'all need to go in another room. Y'all don't need to hear what we talking about. Y'all need to hear what we saying. Go in the other room. Go upstairs. Go outside. Go do something. You couldn't sit around your mama when she was talking to your aunties and her friends and your grandmama and all of that stuff back in the day. What the fuck? And sometimes I used to try to sneak there and sit up under my mama and just be real still and real quiet because maybe she'll let me stay. And eventually she'll be like, Shania, go ahead with them kids. Get your ass out of here and go in there with them kids. I'm like, damn, I got caught. Fuck. Y'all remember back in the day when our parents used to spell? So we didn't know what the fuck they were talking about. Go get the LIQ. They look around. OUR out the car. They used to spell. And we used to be back there like L-I. Trying to figure that shit the fuck out. We tried to figure it out. Okay, we was trying to read lips. We was trying to really get it together, because there was a certain respect not only that we had for our parents, but that our parents had for us. They knew that we were too young to ingest the different conversations and topics and things that they was talking about. They didn't want to prematurely expose us to anything that we didn't need to hear right now. They wanted to have grown folk conversation without having to worry about, covering their words or ciphering through different things. They wanted to have real raw conversation. So they sent our ass the fuck out the room so that they can talk amongst each other. Because it is important for adults to connect. It is important for moms to come together and have mommy talk, and dads to come together and have daddy talk, and so on and so forth. It's so important for adults to have a village as well. But there was a boundary that used to be there. You cannot sit amongst that adult conversation. I don't give a fuck until you were of a certain age. Now, once you hit about 15, 16, around there, or if you was mature, you was a mature 14-year-old or 15-year-old, then sometimes they'll let you sit there. But then if that conversation got too much, they excuse your ass again. It didn't matter if you was in your teenage years. They didn't give a damn. Okay, we understand. You'd have heard this part now. We switching over to something else. Get your ass out. Right? But it was almost like a badge of honor when you finally got to sit there in that grown folks conversation. You felt good, like, oh yeah, I done made it to the adult table. We used to even have an adult and a kiddie table. Come on, y'all, stop playing with me. Stop playing with me. We used to have an adult table and a kiddie table. You couldn't even eat with the adults sometimes. They want you to sit over there with the kids, so that they can sit there and converse amongst each other and have their own little thing. Y'all go outside and eat. And as kids, we didn't give a damn. We would love to go outside and eat. You couldn't keep us from outside. This generation is new. You tell these motherfuckers to go outside, it's a punishment. Us, if we could not go outside, that was a punishment. What you mean I gotta sit in the house? All my friends is outside. And if your friends played in your neighborhood, you heard them playing while you had to sit your ass in the house. I used to turn the TV all the way up so I couldn't hear it, so I wouldn't cry. I used to just go sit in the back room. I'm like, damn, they out there having fun like shit. I had everybody running around screaming and yelling, and everybody on their bikes. You go past the window, you see everybody rolling up and down the fucking street, and your ass got to sit there because you done fucked up in school, or you done had a smart mouth, or you done did something. Right? And then when you was able to go back outside, you was happy as shit. So we didn't care about going outside. That was a reward. Coming in was a punishment. Going out was the reward. Right? So there was a different principle that we had as children. There was a different principle that our parents had back then. Now all of the lines are blurred. I don't know who the grandmama is. I don't know who the mama is. I don't know who the great grandma is. I don't know who the child is. Half of these fucking kids in high school look like they didn't work all their life. I be looking at some of these Gen Zs. I'm like, ain't no way I'm older than you. Ain't no way I was in high school when you was born. Ain't no fucking way, bro. Ain't no way. Y'all look old as hell. What the fuck? What are y'all going through? They look elderly. They look old. And then they got a whole bunch of kids. 16-year-olds talking about some, yeah, I'm on my second child. Your second? 21 got 6 kids already. We're normalizing bullshit. It's different to being 21 with 6 kids back in the 50s. Because when our great grandmamas and grandmamas was 21 with 6 kids, they had a husband. They had a farm. Okay? They had structure, they had a home. Period. They wasn't 21 and still living in their mama house. They had their own shit going on back then. To be that young with children. And they were married. The daddies was in the house. That's just that on that. Now you got 21-year-olds, 22-year-olds with all these motherfucking kids. 2 of the daddies locked up. The other 2 is on drugs. The other 2 live somewhere else with another family. I mean, and we're not thinking, oh shit, there's children that are involved in this. There are babies whose lives are hanging in the balance of our actions as adults. How many innocent babies' lives have been taken because the mama want to keep doing this toxic shit? That's another thing. This toxic thing. Everybody want to be toxic. It's a good thing to be toxic. Oh, I'm so toxic. Well, why is that good? So, because these mamas want to be toxic and they think it's love, and they like to do this back and forth. Oh, me and him, we always arguing, but we come back together. Oh, yeah, he be cussing me the fuck out and I be cussing him out, but we always come back together. And then you look at the motherfucking 5 o'clock news, and it's that same female on there, unalive with her kids. Because these men are losing their motherfucking marbles. So they not just taking the mamas out, they taking the kids out too. I just seen a story, last week, of a man who drowned his newborn and the mama because of whatever. So we're putting children's lives at risk. We're putting our lives at risk, all to perpetuate some bullshit that we think is going to give us some attention on social media. Everybody's disrespecting themselves for a coin or for some clout. Either one of the two. If they either doing it for money, or they doing it for attention, or they doing it for both. Thank you. There is no structure. There's no structure in the home. There's no structure in the family. The families have no structure no more. I remember, again, back in the day, it was normal to either have Sunday dinners at grandma's house or to see your family at some point during the week on a consistent basis. That was normal. It was normal to be around family and close friends, okay? In Black community, everybody's your auntie if they grew up with your mother, or if they was your mama friend, and that's automatically your auntie. If they your daddy friend, and that's automatically your uncle. That's just how it went, right? So it wasn't uncommon to come together as a collective at some point throughout the week. It wasn't uncommon. And guess who was the main orchestrator of that shit? Grandma. Calling everybody out. Y'all gonna be over here this week, right? Okay, cool. Y'all coming over here. I'm gonna make this. I'm gonna make that. Okay, cool. Da-da-da-da-da. Then I've seen so many videos on TikTok where, the millennials are calling out Gen X, and they're like, damn, y'all the grandmamas now. Y'all don't want to cook nothing. Y'all don't want to have nothing. Y'all don't want to, do nothing for y'all grandkids. Oh, them kids ain't my responsibility. I don't got to do shit for them kids. I done raised my kids. Gen X is basically like, fuck it. But Gen X had a village. My mama had a village. My mama could take me to her mama's house, or take me to her grandmother's house, which is my great grandmother. Or take me, or my father's side. I was able to go to my grandmother's house on my daddy's side, or whatever the case is. We had villages. My parents had a village. Period. Now, a lot of Gen X, they old, and a lot of us, the millennials were their children. So we having children at this age, and they like, them kids not my responsibility. I don't have to do nothing for them fucking kids. Them is your kids. I raised my kids already. It's time for me to have a hot grandma summer. It's time for me to do this and da-da-da-da-da. And am I saying put your life on hold? No. But villages are so important. And we would not be who we are as millennials if our parents didn't have a village. Because let's be real, half of our grandmamas raised us. Or we seen our grandmamas majority of the time throughout the week. Our parents was at work. What the fuck? Let's talk about it. We didn't have to go to nobody's daycare service. We didn't have to go to nobody's, after school program. We didn't have to do that shit. We just go to our grandparents' houses because our parents had villages. Now we are the parents, and they basically telling us it's on you. Them your motherfucking kids. No village. No village. Now our children will probably not have that experience of being able to meet all of their cousins at their grandmama house. Because their grandmama want to go shake that ass to Sexy Red. They grandmama's out here trying to, find a millionaire so they can get a bus down. So our children are not going to have that experience the way that we had. The 90s was lit. That shit was lit. Early 2000s, that shit was lit. We were surrounded by family. Whether we liked them motherfuckers or not, we were surrounded by their ass. It was what it was. So our children won't have that. Now, some of it may be because, some of the millennial parents, a lot of y'all are detaching from your Gen X parents because of the trauma you may have went through and things of that nature. If that's the case, I completely understand that. I completely understand that. Don't fool. On, y'all. Okay, there we go. My Wi-Fi was buffering. Okay. If you have not been around your family, you don't go around your family because of trauma or things of that nature, then I definitely understand that. It look like my connection about to start acting down. Okay, there you go. But yeah, if that's the case, then I understand it. But overall, we need to get back to community. And if you don't have parents, this is why having good friends and good support systems is so important. This is why us coming together and saying we need help is so important. If you are a parent and you're struggling, find some help. Say something, because it could be another mama who live down the road that's struggling too. And y'all can put y'all shit together and create community for y'all babies. You know what I'm saying? Say something on social media. Say something. Don't suffer in silence, because these babies need community. And we need support systems as adults, especially being spiritual, because a lot of us are reopening this spiritual can of worms that has been closed and sealed for hundreds of years based on slavery and a whole bunch of other shit. Right? So we're reopening this whole new can of worms, and we need support from people who understand like we understand. Period. Right? We need somebody who understands this spiritual shit the way we understand this spiritual shit. Somebody who you can go talk to and they be like, oh yeah, girl, see, me too. Yeah, my mama be tripping too, girl. A shoulder to cry on, somebody to understand what the fuck going on. Okay? Every other community has village. Every other community has community. It is only in the Black community that they keep us thinking that we're supposed to stay so far apart from each other. It's only in the Black community that they make us feel some type of way for relying on each other, for asking for help. It's only the Black community where you're supposed to be strong. Bitch, I don't want to be strong. The fuck? I don't want to be that strong. Or it's time to learn that strength comes in different forms. Sometimes the strength that you need to display is to say, I need some help. Because it takes a strong person to say, I need help. I need assistance. I need community. I need a village. I need support. That's strength. And we've been convinced that you got to do it yourself. Oh, I'm self-made. I don't have to be self-made. I don't mind saying this person helped me get to this place and this person helped me get to this place. And I want to thank this person. I want to thank that person. I don't mind that. I don't mind that, because as long as I get to my goal, that's the only thing that matters. How I get there is how I get there. But once I'm there, you think I'm going to worry about how the fuck I got here? No. I don't need to be self-made. I love community too much to try to do all the self-made shit. And I had to learn that, because it was beaten to us, especially as Black women, to be strong and independent. You don't need no man. You don't need no this. You don't need no that. You can do it on your own. That was fed into us. That was beaten to us as Black women. I don't want to do that. I do need people. I do need people. I need you. I need you. I need you. And you need me. Point the fuck blank, period. Why do we make it such a bad thing to need other people? Why do we make it such a bad thing to ask for help? To say, I'm fucked up right now. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what I'm doing. It's not a bad thing to do that. A smart person asks for help. A stupid person suffers in silence. And I had to realize that. And some of y'all may need to realize that as well. Okay? So I'm going to take a couple questions. If you have any questions in a comment and you want to put them in the comments for us to go over, or for me to put on the screen for other people to kind of give their 2 cents about, you can start typing them now. Other than that, while we're waiting, definitely make sure that you pay attention to There go my screen acting stupid. Make sure that you pay attention to what's scrolling down at the bottom. My website is currently down, so if you are interested in booking any services from me, you have to contact me directly. My email is scrolling somewhere down here at the bottom, so definitely just shoot me an email, or you can send me a DM or a private message on either Instagram or Facebook, and I will respond to you as soon as possible. I do have some specials going on for mentorships. I have divine feminine consultations. I have a lot of different consultations to choose from. I have a lot of different specials going on, period, for those specific things. I am also doing readings for the full moon. The full moon is today. Well, it'll be for the next 24 hours. And then we'll feel the energy the next couple of days after. So I am doing a 8-card reading special for the full moon. If you are interested in that, definitely inbox me. Other than that, we will be doing this Think Tank Thursday every Thursday, so definitely make sure you tune in. If there are any topics or controversial things that you want to bring to the Think Tank, definitely make sure that you inbox it to me. And if it is something that I feel like we should discuss, then I definitely will make that one of the topics, and give you the credit for that specific topic. Also, Monday through Friday, again, I'm doing a whole new thing. This is now my podcast for those who are not familiar. Y'all been telling me to get on this podcast shit for a while, so we're finally here. Monday is Message Mondays. That's when I do opening readings for the week, trying to just picking up on energy for the week, things to expect, things to look out for, things of that nature. Tuesdays is our Topic Tuesday. This is when we talk about certain topics or specific things that are going on currently in the news or just in the world, period, or just topics or things that we need to cover. Wednesdays are our Higher Wisdom Wednesdays, when we talk more about spirituality, when we talk more about consciousness and cosmic knowledge, esoteric knowledge, things of that nature. Higher Wednesdays, higher vibrations. Thursdays, of course, is our Think Tank Thursdays. And then on Fridays is when we do our final messages for the week, where I basically pull cards and do readings to close out the week and just to get to the overall energy for the week as we're closing out. Definitely make sure that you tune in. I will always be live either 12:30 through 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday. The only thing that would change that is if I have any calls or clients during that specific time. But if not, then I'll always be on live either I'll be live broadcasting from Facebook and YouTube at the same time, Monday through Friday, okay? If you want to send any tips or donations for any of the lives, for any of the information, to just be a blessing or to say thank you for whatever message you may have received or gotten, then all of my information is down here. My Zelle is right here for those who don't have Cash App. But yeah, we'll be back tomorrow to do the final messages for the week. But Think Tank Thursday next week, we'll have another topic, another controversial topic. Understand that we have these discussions not because we want to make anybody feel bad or we're spreading hate or anything, but just because that these are certain things that need to be discussed within our community. There's so many things that people make taboo now. You can't talk about this, you can't talk about that. If you talk about this, this person's going to cry. If you talk about that, this person's going to cry. And, at this point, there's really not much we can say or talk about where somebody is not going to be offended. So I'm not here to purposely offend anybody, but if I do offend you, then that's just you. But we do need to have discussions. We do need to have, conversations about certain things so that we can get ourselves on the proper path to move forward as a collective and individually. Okay, so I will see y'all again next week as far as Think Tank Thursdays go. Tomorrow, of course, I'll be back online on live doing the messages for Friday. And we'll just keep going that way. Okay, so love and light to everybody. Enjoy the rest of your day. Again, if you're interested in any services, definitely make sure that you hit me up. And I will see y'all tomorrow. Peace.